Okay, so hey y'all, I can't tell y'all how many times I have tried to do this video. I'm trying to find the right way to say this because I have a tendency to get very passionate about what I'm speaking about, especially when the Lord is asking me to share it. And for those of you who have been subscribed, who have been family members for a while, uh, you know that to talk about marriage is not something that God has permitted me to do up until recently. And that was only one video. And even in that video discussing kingdom marriage, I was telling the people that that video was for, be quiet. Okay? So it's not very many words on marriage that I'm permitted to do. But this one in particular is more so encouragement for those who the Lord has promised kingdom marriage, who has promised this kingdom union too. I have seen titles floating around. One in particular that said, it was something along the lines of, this is not the season for natural marriages. And to that title, I say you are very correct. It's not the season for natural marriages, but it's very much so the season for supernatural marriages. Be not deceived. Be not dismayed, beloved. Those of you who know that the Lord has been speaking to you, and a lot of you are within the remnant. A lot of you have gone through the wilderness because he had to purge you. He had to prune you. He had to send you through the fire so you can come out bright as gold. Okay? So no, it's not the time for natural marriages. Okay? That's what leads to the 50% divorce rate that we have in the world today. So no, it's not the season for natural marriages. Also, within this word of encouragement, I cannot tell you enough. You do not get on YouTube to seek a word. You do not get on social media to seek a prophetic word. You seek King Jesus, okay? Because if you're not careful, you just click and play on whoever. You're not using discernment. You're not honing in on your relationship, your personal relationship, and walk with Christ. If you're not doing that, you will be swayed. So then this is the reason I'm coming in to give you that encouragement, to let you know, no, don't go back on what it is that you know you heard God speak to you. And for a lot of people in this category, you've already known. You've already known. Some of you for months, some for years. So you need to be careful with what you click play on. You need to be careful with what you're listening to. You need to be careful with what you're agreeing with. Your eye gates, ear gates, all of that. You have to be careful in this time. Just as I said in my last video concerning marriage, kingdom spouses and things like that. Even that was my first word that the Lord allowed me to permit concerning kingdom marriages and supernatural marriages, okay? He hasn't allowed me to speak much on it, but even my first video on that, it was telling you all who know to be quiet in this season. You have to be quiet. Quiet your spirit and stop clicking everything. Okay? Now, I think in the Christian community, we know how popular kingdom marriage prophetic words are. Is everybody of the Lord? No. Okay? But are there some who are truly hearing and are truly doing the work of the Lord? Yes. We see how popular it is, so a lot of people can start giving those kind of words and you see their channel start to take off, or you see them get a lot of views. Okay? That's not what we do here. Okay? And because you have that, you have to be careful with what you are listening to. And seeing those titles and kind of seeing, I just felt really heavy for a lot of you, because a lot of you have gotten swayed by certain videos and certain titles that have been released in the past weeks. Okay? Past weeks, past month. You have to be careful. You have to be careful. And again, no, it is not the season for natural marriages. It is very much so the season for supernatural marriages. And do you know why? Do you know why? Because this world that we're living in is never going to be what it's supposed to be. It starts with us individually. I've heard it said several times, but I'm going to have to quote. It was Dr. Tony Evans that I heard say it one time. And paraphrasing greatly, okay? Basically, if we want to see a kingdom society, it starts with kingdom individuals. So you start on the work. And for those of you that the Lord spoke this message to, spoke this word and this promise of kingdom marriage and supernatural marriages, and told you that he had someone for you, some of you, again, years ago, that's what your wilderness season was getting you ready, was preparing you to be a kingdom individual first, preparing you to be 100% first, okay? Because when we're 100%, then we come together with our kingdom spouse. Okay, and no, marriage is not for everybody. So if it's not for you, it's not for you. Don't go around saying that, no, this is false and this is not true. It might not be true for you, okay? You have to be careful with what you're saying. And just the same way that others have to be careful with what you're listening to, be careful with what you allow people to speak into your life, okay? Because God spoke a word to you. Do not forsake that word. Do not turn your back on that word. Do not go back into a season of doubt and questioning. You will forever be delaying your promise, okay? This is very serious. Some of you need to hop off of social media and go in the prayer closet. It's about Jesus. It ain't about these post notifications. It ain't about subscribing and, turning on the notifications. No. The same way he's speaking to all of these prophetic voices on YouTube is the same way he can speak to you. It's the same way he can speak to you. And a lot of you are already prophetic. A lot of you, probably are supposed to be on here. And you're not. That's a whole nother video. But anyway, I want to kind of dispel some of, like I said, what I've been seeing, what I've been hearing. And this word is for encouragement for those who know that Abba has promised you kingdom marriage, okay? I'm going to start with 1 Timothy 3:5. I like to read from the New Living Translation, and it says, "For if a man cannot manage his own household, how can he take care of God's church?" Again, it starts with kingdom individuals. Okay, so once you become a kingdom individual and then the Lord brings you your spouse, now you're a kingdom couple, you produce kingdom children, okay? And then kingdom children, kingdom families contribute to kingdom communities. Kingdom communities contributes to a kingdom society, kingdom county, kingdom cities, kingdom states, okay? Kingdom nation eventually. It starts with us. The internal work, it starts with us. For if a man cannot manage his own household, how can he take care of God's church? This scripture applies whether you're single or a family of 8. It's your household. Can you manage it? Because how you going to step in God's house and try to clean it up when your stuff ain't right? Okay? Oh, here I go. I told y'all. I told y'all. I'm going to take you to Ephesians 5 and 25. Is it Ephesians 5 and 25? Yes. For husbands, this means love your wives just as Christ loved the church. He gave up his life for her. Now, I've seen this scripture misused and abused several times. A lot of people like to attribute it to like a parable almost an example, like as if to completely discredit the fact that it says for husbands, this means love your wives. That's a literal statement. You are to love your wives as Christ loved the church. We know that God is coming. We know that he is preparing and he's on his way. That does not take away from the fact of every other event that has to take place. Okay? Why is he establishing kingdom couples? Why is he establishing this? Because he's sending us out 2 by 2. Because it's time for the world to see what kingdom mentality, what kingdom individuals, what kingdom couples looks like. What kingdom marriage looks like. Because at the end of the day, God created the family before he created the church. Period. He created the family before he created the church. It was his idea from Jump Street. So, again, to those of you who know, do not be dismayed for what you see going around. Don't start doubting. Don't start questioning. He said what he said, and let other people say what they need to say. That's why, like I said in that last video concerning marriage that I spoke on a couple videos ago, my message was to be quiet in this season. Be quiet and let him minister to you, let him speak to you, and let him do what he's gonna do. It'll happen unexpectedly. You can't make this thing happen. Okay? So be not dismayed. Be not dismayed. I need you all to be encouraged. I need you all to know that you heard him correctly. You haven't been toiling for just anything. I know it's not just for your pleasure, but at the same time, your Father wants to see you happy. He knows that you desire love. He's aware, and guess what? He wants it more than you do. So don't doubt that. Don't doubt that. Please don't doubt that. And we all know Genesis 2:18, it's not good that man should be alone. Point blank, period. Again, is marriage for everyone? No, it is not. No, it's not. But there's a select few who know that they know that they know what the Lord has spoken to them. So hop on off of YouTube if you need to for a second. Take a break. Because the enemy is busy, but guess what? God is busier. So don't forget that. I also want to say, if you don't know, the two shall be one. Mama V, I call her Mama V, Apostle Vivian Rose. I heard her say this once, and she was saying that kind of in the beginning of her ministry and establishing it and doing what the Lord told her, there were a lot of people who had something to say. Like, why are you focused so much on marriage and why are you doing this? And she put it in such a profound way. And nobody has that same attitude when it comes to healing. I literally know people who church hop, conference hop, in search of a word, in search of healing, in search of all these things. Okay, but nobody condemns someone who's seeking healing. Okay? So why do we do that with singles who are seeking marriage? Especially since it was the Lord's idea in the first place. He's the one who established family, covenant before the church. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? Now, obviously, you put anything on a pedestal, that's idolatry. So there has to be balance, yes. But the same way that we have healing ministries, the same way we have deliverance ministries, why don't we have relationship ministries? Why don't we have marriage ministries? Why aren't they as popular? That's just something to think about. It is something that the Lord is doing. And why? Because he's sending us out 2 by 2 in this last hour to be the light, to be an example, to be the salt of the earth. It's gonna happen. And if it's not for you, then just be quiet. Sit back and rejoice with your brother and sister. That's all you have to do. I don't want this to be too much longer, but I want you to be encouraged. It's some tough encouragement that I'm giving, but I want you to be encouraged. Be careful with these words that you want here viewing and what you're listening to and what you're putting into your spirit. Be careful, okay? Go to the Lord. Get in your quiet place. Get in your secret place. Get in your closet. And let him talk to you. Don't let these prophetic words on this YouTube, replace your relationship with your Father, okay? I love y'all. I do love y'all. I know this was a little tough, but I love you, okay? Be blessed.